What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JB Sports, back again with another one. Jermell Charlo is now the unified junior middleweight champion. He now holds the WBC, the WBA, and IBF title after an 8th round knockout of Jason Rosario from the Dominican Republic. He had knocked him down previously in the 1st and 6th round and then finished the job in the 8th round with a brutal body shot. More specifically, a beautiful shot to the solar plex that knocked the wind out of Jason Rosario and it had him on the canvas doing the centipede reverse. Doing a centipede back down, stomach up. Highlight reel knockout. Go to YouTube if you haven't seen that knockout of Jason Rosario at the hands of Jermell Charlo. Now the question that needs to be asked is, what's next for the unified champion, Jermell Charlo? Now at the press conference, the question was asked about him fighting possibly Patrick Teixeira, who is the only other belt holder at the junior middleweight division. He holds the WBO junior middleweight title. Jermell Charlo said he don't think that fight going to happen anytime soon because he basically says that his promoter, Oscar De La Hoya, is not keen on making that matchup and will keep Patrick Rosario far away from Jermell Charlo. Now, Patrick Teixeira has a match that hasn't been agreed to yet, but it's a match that he has to take next as the WBO has ordered him to face #1 mandatory contender Brian Castano, who was under the same manager as Jermell Charlo and Al Heyman, who is over the PBC, the Premier Boxing champion, who has fights dates set up with Fox and Showtime. So that could be possibly a fight if Brian Castano is able to defeat Patrick Teixeira. Maybe they can line up a fight between Brian Castano versus Jermell Charlo, and that would be for undisputed. But that fight has not been agreed to. That fight has a chance of getting pushed back to early 2021. So in the meantime, Jermell Charlo will be looking to have a fight set up before that fight is over and done with. As far as the winner of that fight being happening in early 2021. That'll leave Jermell Charlo with an extended break. He's got a lot of momentum right now, and they'll be looking to put him in the ring in the first quarter of 2021. And his next opponent will be Erickson Lubin, who is the WBC #1 contender. Now, they named a whole lot of people. They was saying Patrick Teixeira, which is not happening next because he got to fight Brian Castano, and that fight's not going to happen until early 2021. So that'll leave Jermell Charlo with extended break if he try to wait on a winner and hope Brian Castano win. What if he doesn't win? Then he'll still be waiting for basically an outcome to happen, and he's not sure what the outcome going to be. If Patrick Teixeira wins the fight, like I said, De La Hoya is not going to put Teixeira in there with Jermell Charlo. He's not going to do that. So they was talking about other guys. Jaime McGill. Jaime McGill didn't want to fight Jerry Hurd when he had the belt. He has shown no interest. Him or his team has shown no interest in Jermell Charlo. They named some other fighters too. I think who else they named? J. Rock Williams. They were saying he might be next, but he's gonna take a tune-up before he's in there with the big names before that. So he's gonna take a tune-up, and then he's gonna look to fight for a title. If Jermell Charlo's able to win that, they'll probably stage that fight after he has his tune-up. So that fight's not going to be next. So it's going to be Erickson Lubin, the #1 contender. You look at the date where he fought a week before the Charlo-Rosario fight. He fought September 19th. He was able to defeat Terrell Gausha in a 12-round decision. So you can tell the PBC are lining them both guys up, basically fighting in the same time frame, 19th and the 26th of September. Back-to-back like that, back-to-back weeks, they're setting up that fight. But both guys are going to be on the same schedule as far as preparation for their upcoming bout. So that's the fight we're looking to see next, and that's the fight the PBC is looking to make next. So you might be hearing a lot of names getting thrown at Jermell Charlo, but pay no attention to any of those names. J. Rock Williams is not going to be next. Patrick Teixeira is not going to be next. Brian Castano, a fellow PBC fighter, if he wins, won't be next because, again, the extended period of time between that potential fight and Jermell Charlo's being the fight last Saturday would be too much time, in my opinion, too much of a break, in my opinion, on an outcome that's not certain. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what transpires. But again, look for Jermell Charlo, Lions only, to match up with Erickson Lubin. You remember what happened last time. It was a highlight reel first-round knockout as Erickson Lubin was a little bit too green. It wasn't quite ready. A 21-year-old at the time. He was undefeated, but he hadn't been tested at the highest level. But a lot of people thought he was a special type of fighter, could make that jump. And they overestimated his readiness as he got in there and got caught with a punch he didn't see. Maybe if he don't get caught with that punch, that would have turned out to be a great fight. But that punch let me know that he could not take Jermell Charlo's powers. He got caught with a shot on the side of his neck, a blind shot from the side of his neck that he just wasn't ready for. Knocked his equilibrium out, and he was pretty much done after that, as he failed to make the 10 count. And they quickly stopped that fight. I think this fight will go a little bit different, but the problem with Erickson Lubin is he has a shaky chin. He has a real shaky chin. He was hurt against Terrell Garcia in his last fight, and Garcia is not known as a power puncher. He got hurt in that fight. So, when you get to that highest level, your chin's got to be able to hold up, because you're not going to be able to go through a 12-round fight without not getting caught with shots. And if your chin is shaky, you could be susceptible to get knocked out, as we seen in the first Charlo fight, and then his last performance against Terrell Garcia, who was a top 10 top 10 junior middleweight. So we'll see what happens, and we'll definitely see what transpires. Let me know what you think about Jermell Charlo versus Erickson Lubin. That's the fight PBC is looking to make next in the first quarter of 2021. Let me know your thoughts. This is JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. I holla.